Hey y'all, Bolen Outdoors here, and today I'm checking trail cameras. Thought I'd go ahead and take you along with me, show you what the cameras are picking up, but also want to do a little walkthrough on kind of what I set up, how I like to set up, and stuff I'm looking for. I also got the farm dog here. This isn't my dog, this is their dog. Good boy. Likes to hang out with me whenever I come out and do this stuff. Look at that. Digging out there, but just to give you a little background here on this specific farm that I'm hunting before I start getting comments about, oh, you're getting too much of your scent in the woods, you're gonna scare a deer out, blah blah blah. Not really worried about that. So this is a farm kind of in an urban area. It's about, I think, 35 acres. And a good way to think about the way it's set up is it's kind of split off almost like a four-leaf clover, the way the actual parts we hunt are set up. Think about kind of the house and the main part of the farm being right in the middle, and there's little lobes where we hunt at. And when I say we, it's my family and one other family are the only people that have permission to hunt here. So there's not a ton of hunting pressure, and there are people everywhere, so that's why I'm not too concerned with scent. I've literally been on this property where you got the farmers working, you've got interns, and there be deer 20 yards, 15 yards from the interns downwind, just bedded down while they're out there and working and doing what they need to do. So not to say the deer are tame or anything, they still run if you get close to them, but human scent doesn't really seem to be something that freaks them out a whole lot, because they're coming encounter with that all the time. Now, I'm just trying to remember where I set up this camera. This area down here is an area I haven't really hunted or put a lot of hunting pressure on in the past. It kind of caught my attention last season because as I was kind of hiking around, actually I shot a deer and had to track it down. There's my camera. I came down here and noticed that every time I was coming down to this area, there was a lot of deer here. So I got in here, started scouting around. I've had these cameras set up for about 4 weeks now. Right now it's August the 13th. And I'll kind of walk you through this setup. So I'm gonna pull my SD card real quick, but I got camera set here on this tree. And what I got is I got a trail going right up that direction. There's another trail coming this way, and there's actually a third trail that's coming in back there. And they all meet up like right over here, actually past this tree that's got this crotch in it. Around the other side of that, all these trails meet up. All right, so I just pulled the card. I'm gonna check that in 1 second, but what you'll see here is I got this thing set up about 3 foot off the ground, and again, it's pointed right here at this main trail. This one's definitely the thickest, but there's an intersecting trail there, so anything coming in this way I should be able to pick up. That way I should be able to pick up. Anything coming along this way I should be able to pick up. And there's a ton of deer sign. Actually, now I'm looking at it, looks like there might even be a little trail that way, because I do know there's one coming up there. That's the same one I came in from. But I have this set up about that height. That's about where I thought would be ideal for here. One thing I do want to note is, like I said, there's not many people hunting this property. The people I do know, I trust. So my camera's just down like this, no big deal. Just notice my strap's a little loose. Fix that. Now, if I was setting this up on public land, I'd probably go up higher. I'd bring a quick stick with me, set it up, climb up, set up as high as I can reach, and just kind of point it down. I do that so people don't steal my cameras. So, again, not much of an issue here, but we'll see how this goes. I'm really curious to see what's on that footage. Now, it is going to be still frame pics. I'm maybe still a little old school. I like just doing the standard pictures, especially early in the season. Makes the batteries last a bit longer. Later in the season, or once the season actually starts, I'll switch it up. We'll just do video mode, because I'm going to be in and out a lot more often instead of like every few weeks. So I'll switch it up to video at that point, but for right now it's just going to be still frame shots. I like to do the 3 photo burst. And just kind of where this area is at too, I'm still debating on if I do see stuff out here, what I want to set up. I can definitely get my saddle in here just about anywhere, but I might end up doing a hang-on stand, maybe up this hill, come out here right before the season and clear some of these trees, because I can see there's a ton of small trees here. I'll come out with a sawzall and just knock a bunch of these down and give myself a couple clear shooting lanes at that other path down there, path up here. But let's see what's on the film. Okay, so this is camera number 1 here, we'll call it. And I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible because there's a lot of pictures here, but you can see there's a doe, there's at least 2 fawns. So pretty cool to see. Go through it fast. There's something, probably a raccoon. There's a fox squirrel. It's pretty cool. And here goes a little buck. Didn't get a great picture of him, but looks like a little guy. Doesn't seem too bad. This is going to be a spot, like I mentioned earlier. What was that? The fox squirrel. Where realistically speaking, it's probably going to be me hunting it most of the that one, like, what is that? This spot, very likely my kids won't be hunting. It's going to be mostly me. But I guess we'll maybe kind of dictate that as we go, because I do have a couple blinds, so. It's 11:42 a.m. At 11:15 a.m. Look at that. Okay. That's not looking too bad. And there I go. So that's what we got. So not a whole lot, not as much as I was expecting considering the amount of deer I've seen, but I've also seen the deer there once the temps drop a lot more, so maybe that has something to do with it. But that's what we're looking at from camera number 1. While I was hiking up, I just sort of realized I forgot to mention this, but so where I'm at right now in this spot, it's about halfway up this hill. This is probably about I don't know, maybe 130, 140 foot elevation hill. It's pretty gradual, so it's not super steep, but I'm about halfway up. Now down here at the bottom, there's a good water source, and it opens up along this way over here. In fact, there's a trail. People who are camping at this, this farm also has a couple of wall tents people camp in during the fall. There's like a hiking trail right over there, which deer are on regularly. Again, water source straight down the hill. Then right up this hill, there's a big open field with a ton of stuff for them to eat. So, like I said, it seems like a major travel corridor just kind of right here, and that trail is nice and wide. So that's why I picked this spot again. And on top of that, scouting and what I was seeing last year, the signs there. I know for sure there's a lot of deer that hang out here once the season starts. I saw them a bunch last year, but that's the reason behind that specific area and that setup. All right, coming up on camera number 2 here. I got set right against that tree right there. Now this one I got set just a little bit lower than the other. That's what we're looking at here. So it's pretty wide. And what we got going on here is all around this area. There's white oaks, there's red oaks. There's a huge red oak right behind me. And excuse me, I'm out of breath a little bit. It's a little steep getting down to this spot. But last year hunting, came across a couple nice bucks. The other guy that hunts his property, him and his son, they got a stand set up down this fence line good ways, probably about 400 or 500 yards. They shot a really nice buck last year. So, and we did see others. They tend to walk this fence line here. Now this area here belongs to the city on the other side of the fence. So there's really, like, I mean, if you go walking around in there, it's technically public land and there are people who hunt it, but there's not a lot, and not many of them come very close to where this farm's at. They're a good ways in, and there's like a big deep ravine right there with the water. So a lot of times you catch deer going about midway up that hill. They'll come here, they'll jump the fence, work their way up and go up into the fields. Because that one I showed you a moment ago is on the opposite side, so right in the middle. Again, think about the 4-leaf clover, imagine the top of it. You know, you got the lobe here, lobe here. This middle area is just like a big area where they got a lot of field and stuff for them to eat on. So we started over here, deer work their way up over here, they come and again work their way up and eat and munch and stuff. And the main part of the property is there where they got their crops at, and they got a lot of stuff there that deer just destroy every year. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this card again. This one, being early in the season, I have this set to the like the 3 photo burst. I forget what the sensitivity is, not a lot, but I'm gonna pull this card. We'll see what we got. All right, so I got a little bit of bad news. That camera I just pulled, I pulled the SD card, popped the new card in, and camera wouldn't turn back on. So I'm thinking something might be wrong with the camera, because those are brand new batteries I just put in there, and that camera was a freebie that someone gave me. I can't remember if it's this property or not, but I don't know, somebody had one that was sort of abandoned, and they were just like, hey man, you can take this if you want. And I was like, yeah, sure, we'll try it out, but it doesn't seem like it's working. So hopefully I got something on camera before it crapped out, but if not, hey, it is what it is. I'll get another one, throw it up there and check it out later. Alright, here we go with what we'll call camera number 2. So, got a doe there, same day I set it up. Again, I'll try to click through this. Okay. And knocking the camera around. Okay, there we go. By the way, with this camera, I brought it home and literally just took the batteries out and put it back in. It seemed to work just fine. Okay, so she's not alone. Yep, so got some does. Now, I should mention too, one of the main objectives on this property is doe control. You know, we see bucks and that's a bonus. Oh, there you go, stop. But the primary objective for the farmers is, you know, getting rid of does. That's what, you know, that's why we're allowed to hunt there. The does are really the ones that cause problems. And I mean, the last video showed doe with fawns. This one also shows does with fawns. So that's what we're aiming to do here. And one thing I forgot to mention about the spot, you know, the other one I talked a little bit about how I might put a hang on up there, or just use it primarily for saddle hunting. You can see the spot there. So right there is where I was at, where it's wide open. That fence goes there. This whole area up here, it's not super flat, but there are flat spots on it. And there are quite a few straight trees. So very likely I'm gonna end up doing one of 2 things here. Either probably putting a ground blind or my hang one. I just kind of bring it out here because I don't use it on public anymore. I use my saddle for public hunting. I can set it up out here and I mean, you know, have mobility to anywhere out here I want to hunt, because there's a lot of straight trees. I might even just do both, but this might be a good spot to, you know, get my kids set up with either, you know, a doe, buck, whatever. So we got quite a few of those tags we'll be filling this year. All right, so anyway, up this little hill here, we got camera number 3. So, whew, you know, this summer I've done a lot of swimming, done a lot of lifting, haven't done as much hiking as I normally do. I'm feeling that right now. For the next few weeks here, I need to focus pretty strongly on hiking and get my endurance up a little bit. Just this little hike here today is whipping me. But this one here I got set up, again, about 2.5 foot off the ground. this is what we're looking at. So a little open area, nothing too crazy going here. Turn this off before I go hiking around in here. And this area is kind of at the bottom left of that clover lobe I mentioned. You got a main road. Sorry, I wouldn't point that at me. You got a main road here. I don't know, probably 150 or so yards away. So you can legally shoot here with both muzzleloader, shotgun, bow, crossbow. There's a house down over that way. You can probably see it in the video. I don't know if you can see it behind me. There's another building about 120, 130 yards that way. But this area is full of deer. Every year, so far every year I've hunted this property, which has been about, it's been my 5th year coming up, I've shot a doe over here. I haven't really seen too many bucks in this area. One of the main focuses on this farm is doe harvest, so that's what they want me to do. Bucks are kind of like a bonus. One of the things that caught my attention here specifically though, because normally I've set up like in the wooded area or on the other side here, because there's their driveway, it's on the other side going up to, like I said, the middle of that clover. And deer just, they love to bed here. Maybe they feel safe because they don't get very much pressure, I don't know. But there's always deer here, and right here I can see too where there's, it's like hoofs kicked out everywhere. There is, looks like the start of a new rub right there, which is why I put that camera right over there. It's like, get a look at what is over here. But again, I do know there's a lot of at least does that, yeah, look, there's hoof tracks all through there. So hopefully that camera has some cool stuff on it. So yeah, they come in here, it's real heavy cover. I mean, down through here is super thick, super heavy. Nobody's walking through there. There's a trail along the fence line. People walk. There's not really any trails up that way. So the main part of their farm where the crops are at is literally right up top of that hill. You go, there's like an open field where they got like some tents set up, and then probably another 75 yards, and then their main crops. So a lot of deer, I think, I don't know where they come from. They go there, eat, and then come here, or maybe they bed here and then go there and eat at night. But there's definitely a lot of deer in here. I've shot, like I said, every year at least one in this little patch of woods. So my objective at this point, I'm trying to figure out, because I actually haven't hunted this specific area yet, or before. So I think what I want to do stand-wise here is I might set up a double ladder stand down in here somewhere. I'm going to do that obviously for my access, but primarily my kids. Get them set up with a crossbow on that thing. It's got one of the rails so they shoot down in here. I don't want to set up here. I mean, right now it looks nice, but once the leaves fall, we would just be totally exposed. So I think that might be the way to go. But yeah, deer definitely hang out in this area. I think they like it because it's real thick. They got a lot of cover down here, down here. No one's coming in from up here. People aren't coming in from this side. Again, there's a little trail here, so people walk that. But when they're bedded down in this stuff, I mean, even in winter, this stuff's pretty thick. Obviously, leaf falls off, but it's still thick. People aren't going in and out of this. So I think that might be our best bet in this situation. But let's take a look at what's on the card. All right, here we go with camera number 3. And looks like a buck. What's going on there? Oh man, he's got some damage to him. Look at that. Got one going straight out, another one going down maybe. Okay. There goes the dog. There's another doe with fawns. Now this one has a ton of photos, so I'm just gonna click through it here. There's a fox. It's always cool. Doe. Hey, what? Oh. Looks like a little spike bug maybe. Now this is a spot, oh close. So this is a spot I planned on putting a double ladder stand in. That's weird. So here where I'm at in Pennsylvania, you have to have 3 up on at least one side, not including the brow tine, so at least 3 points in order to shoot it. But with youth hunters, there goes the groundhog. With the oh, there we go. That doesn't look too bad. With the mentored youth, okay. Can't tell if that's a 6 or 7 point. I can't see the brow tines. There goes another fox. But mentored youth hunters, they can shoot anything antlered. There's another groundhog. So this might be a pretty decent spot, especially early season here when late September rolls around. It's hard to tell what's going on here. It looks like maybe one. I can't tell if this might be that injured one. The first pictures. Oh, look at that. Huh. Like, misfires, whatever. A leaf shot by or something happened real quick. What the heck? Okay, so look at that. There's that. But then what is this cluster? Huh. Look, there it is. Yeah, that's the one. What in the world is going on? Yeah, it sure is. Look at that. So that antler it's going down over its eye. That's interesting. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I think its eye is injured from this. Look how black that eye is compared to this one. Okay, more does. Man, the spot's busy. Okay, so that's the last one. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, so that's pretty productive. That was cool to see that much stuff happen in that one spot. And as I mentioned earlier, this particular spot, I've shot a lot of deer, so it's not that surprising to see deer, but I didn't really expect to see too many bucks. And there was one really nice one and a few others, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so no deer in it today, but you can definitely see where they're bedding at here. So, yeah. I can already hear the comments. Oh my goodness, he's busting through the deer beds. Them deer ain't never coming back. Well, I gotta tell you, they are. There's my camera set up. So, give you an idea what I'm looking at here. Right where the bed at, and I can see her hoofs have ruffled this pine. So, I'm not 100% sure why, but they like to come through here. And around the other side here, like I said, is a pigsty. Farmers here have their pigs, they're penned in, but they got a nice big space to roam in. Last year I started paying attention to this spot and just couldn't help but notice that there were deer often just in this field bedded. So, I don't know, or even at nighttime too. A lot of times they'd come in here and hang out. There's a couple nights I had to recover one I shot. So I was out here with a headlamp looking around, and there were deer eyes all over the field. Again, nothing too special about it, just native vegetation. Road right there. Farmers don't put feed or anything down in there. That's all up at their barn, but yeah, the deer hang out there. Hang out there. This grassy patch right here that I just walked through. It goes all the way up to the road. They hang out in that. I spotted bucks, spotted does last year, so yeah, dude, there's just tracks everywhere in this. I mean, this whole pine area is all tore up from deer tracks. So, good deal. Well, as far as this setup, as you can see, these trees are certainly not ideal for a tree stand. If I really wanted, you know, I could probably come out here with like a sawzall or something and, you know, limb away at one or do something like that. I might do that. Do the same thing with my saddle. Probably not going to do that one. If I was going to do anything, I do have an extra ladder stand. I'll think that through a little bit, because that actually might be worthwhile. I think with these things being all pine, that might actually help mask up my scent a little bit too. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll put the hang one up here. That might be easier. I don't know. We'll play with it. We'll see where it goes. But I'm definitely putting a blind over here. I got a couple blinds. And again, last year we were over here with a blind and had near success. So I definitely think I'm going to put a blind in. I actually had the blind set up right over there. You could see right into here the deer's coming in. So I might do that again. Might put it over there. You know, might limb some stuff, put it over there. But I know for sure I'm putting a blind in this area somewhere, without a doubt. Be a good spot for the kids. But let's take a look at the film, the card, see what we got. All right, so we are at camera number 4, and right off the bat, same day I set the cameras up. We got a doe on fawns, got another doe, spotted fawns, another doe on fawns. Alright, so we're going to call it here July 29th. I got this picture of this doe coming in at 8:48 p.m. I got a lot of other pictures of just kind of, you know, like eyes over here and eyes over here, and blurs moving and stuff. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. Just, you know, there's not really, it doesn't seem like any bucks moving around this area for now. Again, it's very early season, but it is good to see a lot of does, because that is the management objectives here, is to harvest as many does as we can. I mean, here in Pennsylvania, I can get 6 doe tags. I already have, usually in the area I hunt in here, this WMU, I have usually 2 to 3 tags every season. Both of my sons each have a couple tags, so we usually fill the freezer pretty good here with those. But I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's been informative. If you've got any feedback, thoughts on how you handle things, feel free to throw that in the comments, and we'll see you out in the woods.